All right. Good afternoon. It's April 1st when we're recording this. I don't know what it's going to be when we put this out, but Tom Pincince here, your interim athletic director. Um, so we had some ideas for content and ideas to try to see what was happening during all of this these last few weeks, and we thought, what better way than to talk to our student athletes? And there's really not, there's a lot we could talk to, but as we mentioned before we started this call, with the three student athletes we chose, there's 5 championships and multiple tournament MVPs and player of the years, and there's an All-American in here, and even though she's in Ireland right now, she was an All-American. Mr. Winchester only won 1 championship, but we'll let him slide since he's only been here for about 6 months. So we're pleased to be joined by Roma McLaughlin from the women's soccer team, TT Bowens from our baseball team, and of course Aaron Winchester from our football team. So first of all, thank you guys for joining us. I don't know, we're taking a shot here. We're going to see how it goes, but I appreciate you guys on such short notice getting together. And TT's got Christmas lights behind him, but we'll let that pass. He probably should have turned them on for this, but thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Let's start. We're going to do ladies first, and I got some questions to go through. And Roma, why don't you just take us through? And if people aren't familiar with Roma, just finished her sophomore season. She's got 2 rings already. So there's some 2 years to fill up the 2 more fingers. And first team all conference, first team all region, all American, 2-time NEC champ. How did you end up at CCSU?
So I'd always wanted to come to America on scholarship and play, and I'd been in contact with Mick, I think, a year or 2 before I actually came. So that kind of slid through, and then it got to maybe April time, and I was like, right, what am I going to do with the next few years of my life? So then I knew Tegan Ruddy was coming, and I got onto her, and I was like, could you get on to Mick and ask him if he wants another player? So it happened that he said he could make it work, so I ended up here then.
No, it worked out fairly decent so far, I would say, right? Things have gone well. TT, how about you?
Well, it was kind of a weird first interaction, I'd say, because Coach Hall actually came to one of my high school games to watch Buddy, and so he didn't even come to watch me my junior year. And so he came to that, and that's when I started talking to him. And I mean, I was in a debate between a few other schools, but I mean, with the money that he offered me and kind of the situation being, and I didn't think it was a bad fit at all. And I mean, looking back, I don't regret my decision. I mean, I love the 4 years I've been here, even though I was only able to play for 2 of them. But I mean, while I was playing, it was fun. So
you've had a whirlwind. You came in gangbusters as a freshman and won the tournament most valuable player and hit a couple bombs, and you're just down the street from where you grew up. Couple injuries, even last season a little bit injury shortened. But I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget it. But last season, all you did was hit 376, hit 5 homers, 26 runs batted in, won the NEC championship, went on to the NCAAs, won a game in the NCAAs, and of course, we're going to get into this spring and what that means in a little bit. But Mr. Winchester, how about you? How did you end up here? And you're coming live from Georgia right now. So Roma's in Ireland. You're in Georgia. And TT, are you home?
yeah, I'm in Connecticut.
Okay. How about you, Aaron?
I came to CCSU. Obviously I spent 4 years at Georgia State previously, and my playing career didn't really pan out the way I envisioned it. So I had 1 more year of eligibility. And I decided, I wanted to play. I thought it was time for me to, I've been putting a lot of work in and didn't get the opportunity at Georgia State for, whatever reason, but I decided to put my name in the transfer portal, graduated in the spring at this time, last year, my undergrad. And I actually asked our director of operations at Georgia State when I was a freshman. She was here, Sarah Gigantino Hogan, and her dad actually coached against Coach McCarthy.
Okay.
So I asked her, I was like, hey, if you know anybody, and this is like, I was asking everybody at this time. I was like, man, I have no idea where I'm going to go. My name is in transfer portal. Nobody's hitting me up really. I'm like, man, I'm going to ask anybody that can. So she actually, got me in contact with her dad, and then her dad got in contact with Coach McCarthy. And then, from the jump, you can tell, he's a very genuine person, and just, day in and day in conversations with him, and then my visit really solidified everything, as far as my indecision in coming to Central. My host was Augie, who ended up transferring after he left, or after I left. And I met Tyshawn, and we really turned it was meeting Francis and Brandon. Francis obviously was our kicker, and Brandon was our punter this past year. And Francis told me.
So wait, you were sold to come here by two kickers?
Two kickers, the specialists. The specialists really put the nail in the coffin. And it was a story that Francis actually told me about, this actually really Coach Ross Armando, who was obviously the head coach at the time. And he said the season that they just finished, he missed a kick against Sacred Heart, and to tie the game, and obviously ended up losing. And he said that Ross Armando, instead of just being upset at him and being mad at him, he was checking in on him every day to make sure he was good mentally, and that showed me like, hey man, these people seem to get more than what somebody can do for them on the field, and as my experience with coaches, and especially at this level, they make their money based on wins and losses, but for somebody to go the extra mile and to care about, for me, there's really nothing, like I said, nothing in the coffin for me. I was like, man, I want to play for somebody like that.
Those are three interesting recruiting stories from three people who have done nothing but win here, right? So TT came because we went to go see Buddy, and Buddy, who he mentioned before, is Buddy Dwayne, our third baseman on the baseball team, who just happens to be TT's cousin. Roma, who asked Tegan if maybe they could bring an extra player over, and Aaron, who couldn't find anybody that wanted him to come, and ended up coming here. So, speaking from somebody in the administration, someone who's been here for a long time, we're certainly happy that the three of you ended up here during your careers. What have you been up to in the last couple of weeks? Let's start again with Roma. And if I mute you on here, it's just because sometimes the audio sounds a little bit funny. But I'm going to start with Roma, and because we found out a couple of weeks ago that we had to go home. People had to go home, and for you, it's not a half-hour drive down the street. So what are these last couple of weeks been like?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Like the Thursday, we found out that we had to get off campus. All of us, well, everyone that lives in Interim is like an international student, so we were all just trying to figure out like what our next move was. And then obviously talking to Mick, they said the school would provide us accommodation. So then following that, we were living in the hotel for a week, which was nice. But my parents were back and forth, like trying to get me home. Be happy that I wasn't budging, because obviously I was enjoying my time in the hotel. But then eventually I got a flight booked to come home, and I got home, and I'd been in self-isolation for a while now.
Did you have to do that going home?
Yeah.
So it's just you?
Well, since we went into lockdown the other day, like 4 days ago, it's been just me and my family since.
Right. TT, what are the last couple of weeks been like for you?
They've been very hectic, especially, like me being a spring sport. I've never seen anything like this before, or experienced anything like it before. So it's it was very overwhelming at first. And I know there was talk of it, I think our last weekend, of possibly not traveling the next weekend, but no one really thought it was actually going to happen. And then within a matter of 4 days, the whole season was canceled. So that was a little tough to deal with. And then expecting just to stay home and kind of do nothing, when you guys know what it's like being an athlete. It's you're always doing something, whether it's school, working out, or doing something extra on the side, and then just having to sit at home for 24 hours of the day. And that's probably been like the most difficult thing to deal with. So like I've been trying like just like little exercises, go out for a jog, go out for a walk, and play a bunch of video games and do some schoolwork. That's about it.
We're gonna get to schoolwork in a second, but I'm looking and I'm standing in, well, I'm sitting, but I'm looking right out the window, and I have 2 high school age daughters who are waiting to find out what's going to happen with their spring seasons in Connecticut. And there's a net and a tee and a bucket of softballs right outside my window here, because they just go outside and they just hit off the tee and they play catch and do all that. So I think everyone a little bit stir crazy at this point.
Yeah.
Aaron, what was it like? What was it like for you?
Honestly, for me, it's been kind of, uncertainty on uncertainty. Actually, the week before spring break, I was able to come back down to Georgia and do my pro day. So I was actually not even on campus at the time where all this, talk was going down. And I, obviously I heard the news like everyone else. And for me, like it's been uncertain. I think it's time everybody is, realizing, how much of stuff that we can't control, So for me, like I said, it's more uncertainty about, everything in general. People, having to close down businesses and, multi-billionaire businesses, stop and play, stop in business and stuff like that. So I think, with this time though, also, I think for me personally, it's been a big test of my faith, and my patience, with everything. That's one thing that I continue to strive for and continue to try to, build upon that. But you really don't know how much faith you have until it's, tested. And I think it's a time for, like I said, for me, where that faith is being tested right now. So that's just what it is. It's been a big test for me.
We're going to switch up the order and we'll go back to Aaron. How's the online learning going?
Online learning is honestly, it's different,
But you had some online classes in the fall too, right?
So, but being a grad student, it's different. But I've taken online classes. I've been able to structure my schedule into making sure I'm staying on top of my schoolwork. But like I said, it's definitely different not being able to go to class, on Mondays and Thursdays and seeing some of the people and seeing my professors and being able to have the dialogue with them, in person, which we all know is as much as we want to say it's the same, it's not. But it's like I said, it's been different, but I think, it's giving everybody an opportunity to slow down, an opportunity to actually have that structure and be, consistent in what they're doing.
T, how about you?
It's a little weird, like, especially in the beginning. I actually don't have any, like, of the WebEx classes where, like, the teacher, like, kind of like what we're doing now. It just kind of video chats all of us. So I'm in none of those classes. So all my work is just on Blackboard or assignments sent to me through professors. But I'm not too crazy about it just because I preferred in-person classes, like being able to build a relationship with your professor, and kind of like when you're trying to learn things, it's a lot easier when they're right there. You can ask them questions and they can go through things, or even just stay after class and talk to them. So when it comes to like that aspect, it's a little different, and I mean, it's a big adjustment. But for the most part, it hasn't been too hard or too much work. And I feel like the professors are making it pretty easy and pretty self-explanatory because they know what's going on.
Roma, how's it going for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty good for me. I suppose the advantage I have is, like, if things are due at 12 in America, then it's 5 o'clock here. So
It's true.
yeah, it's been better that way for me.
Yeah, but you can't get a hold of anybody before noon, right?
Yeah, I know.
How about staying in touch with friends? We'll start with Roma. I mean, you're probably far away. There's a couple other teammates that are in Ireland, but I'm sure they're not down the street. How about staying in touch with friends, teammates? How's that been going? What has your team been doing in order to stay in touch?
We had a Zoom call there with, like, the whole group a couple of days ago, so that was nice. That was with coaches and everything. And then I don't know if you've heard of the app House Party, so we've been using that. And then just calls really and the group chat. is how we've been keeping in touch, and we've been sharing our workouts and stuff. So it's been good that way.
T, how about you?
Really kind of just video chats and playing video games together. We met together as a team before everything kind of shut down. I think it was like almost 2 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
We met at the bar like down the street, and
Can you rephrase that?
yeah,
Like
this
where,
is
like in the restaurant part of the bar.
called
There
bar.
you go. Thank you.
No, we didn't go to a bar together, but yeah, we met there like midday just to get pizza and stuff and kind of see each other. But this was before everything got shut down. But since then we haven't really done too much. I mean, we always talk in our group chat and really just like play video games together. That's probably the most interaction we've been having with each other. But we'll still talk to each other basically every day.
And Aaron, how about you? I mean, you're in Georgia. Your eligibility is up, but I'm sure you've still been in touch with your teammates. And
Absolutely. I think, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously FaceTime make those, those things kind of easier, but like I said, it's different to, talk to somebody through a screen than in person. But like I said, we've been in contact with the same people, from day one as far as when this thing happened, just through Snapchat and different social media platforms. So it's been easy in that aspect. But like I said, I'm just ready for this thing to be over so I can see people.
My wife and I were talking to our kids the other day, telling them, like, obviously no one has ever seen anything like this before. Even my generation, my parents' generation, haven't had this type of situation before. But if this had happened when I was younger, and I'm 45, so I'm significantly older than you guys. But if this has happened when I was younger, we wouldn't have had that option for school. School would have been done. They would have just said, I'm sorry, you can't go back to school. Everyone's going to start the same school year over in the fall. That's just how it would have been. We wouldn't have been able to get in touch with our friends. I mean, the ability to have a call like this or FaceTime, like you said, or just Snap or Instagram or whatever it is, whatever that social media app that you really want to use and talk to your friends. We just didn't have it. So while it's clearly unfortunate that this is happening, but that ability to stay in touch and actually talk to people. And I watched my 5th grader with their teacher, and they have morning meeting with their class, and there's 25 kids on the computer. It's the technology we have is just amazing. So do we have a preferred social media app that we're using during this, Roma?
Probably Snapchat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be everybody's answer. Aaron?
Yeah, definitely Snapchat, Instagram.
TT's got a huge Twitter following now after Arkansas last year. So
yeah, those fans at Arkansas really helped my follow to followers ratio. But, but I say the best app right now, honestly, is like TikTok. It's pretty.
yeah.
So it's new, and like everyone's posting videos on it, so it's like everyone's bored at home. So it's
we actually spent some time here just going through, and I finally created an account and not doing any videos, but just watching my kids try to do it, and then watching all the different stuff that's happening. It's just, some of it's hysterical, and some of it you don't realize what's coming. And my 10-year-old will be over my shoulder, and all of a sudden it's not appropriate for a 10-year-old, and it's like, all right, well, I guess this is what she's going to learn during quarantine. How to TikTok. So Aaron, are you able to work out? I know we're still talking about the possibility of playing professionally, and we still and still working. Are you able to do that stuff down there?
I've been using what I can. As far as what I have in my house, I have a pull-up bar, a band, and a medicine ball. So that's what I've been trying to see, like that with those what I have. And I actually invested in a throwing net not so long ago. So I've been throwing to that, just trying to keep myself, ready, if that call does come. So I'm just trying to do as much as I can with what I have. So that's really been it.
Roma, have you been able to do stuff? Oh, you've been in quarantine for a couple of weeks. Have you been able to do anything?
Yeah, but I could still leave the house if I was by myself or whatever. So I have a lot of beaches around me, so I've been doing beach runs, just going on jogs, doing core workouts, stuff like that.
Right. And T, this I don't know if this affects you a little bit more than everybody else, with the dreams and aspirations that are out there after the summer that you had, the year you had in the springtime, and now you're just playing video games. Have you had the ability to go out and do stuff and stay in shape and still, kind of see what happens here going forward this spring?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been able to get my exercise in still. Like I said, I'll go for runs in my neighborhood. I'll run probably up to 2 miles around there a day. And then I got my pull-up bar and bands and stuff, and I'll do a nice little workout indoors, kind of just maintain, stay in shape. I mean, there's really only so much we can do, and kind of just prepare. I mean, as you've probably heard, they don't even know what they're doing with the draft for baseball, really.
Right.
And it's been changing almost every day. It got pushed back already, so I'm sure there's going to be more changes to come. And I mean, they don't know what's going on. I don't really know what's going on. So just trying to stay in shape and stay ready and just be ready for whatever happens.
I think patience is at a premium for every decision right now for everybody. And it's hard. It's hard to sit here. But, as we at TT, when we had that conversation, when I met with all the spring athletes, which seems like yesterday and months ago at the same time, it seems like it just happened, but it also feels like, because it's Groundhog Day. Every day we wake up now, and everything is kind of the same. And I haven't set an alarm to wake up, yet I wake up at the same time every morning. And, I think it's the patience and the, knowing that we're doing the right thing and knowing that, this is necessary right now, and to try to flatten that curve. And especially here as we're starting to hit that time period where we know these next few weeks are going to get worse where we are. And I think that's important, and important that we remember that, during all this, that, it's, I don't want to say just sports, but when you put things in perspective, we're all doing the right thing. And I think we're making the best of the situation. I think you guys are doing that too. So, anything else we want to add? Anything? This has been mistake free so far, except I just used the word in there, which I don't like to do, but, my public speaking class that I'm trying to teach online is going to get all over me, for doing that. But anything you want to add, Roma? It's almost bedtime there.
I know. No, I don't think I have anything else to add.
No, how about you, T? Questions, concerns, questions that you guys want that we can try to answer for you?
A lot of questions that can't be answered. So
true. Me too.
Just be patient. Just see what happens. Try to make the best of everything and stay healthy.
Mr. Winchester?
It right there, man. Just want everybody to stay healthy. There's people that I just want to also commend those that are on the front lines too. My girlfriend, especially her parents, both work in the hospital. I admire them for putting themselves last. Actually being on the front lines and taking care of those who are sick and have contracted this virus, and just being selfless. I think those people don't get enough credit. Until times like this happen, you realize hey, these are the true heroes and the true people who make a difference. So I just think everybody take your time, take a step back, reflect, enjoy your family, have patience, and just enjoy the gift of life.
Well said. I don't know that we can say anything else after that, but well done. Listen, I appreciate you guys taking a few minutes out of your day to try out this little experiment and see how it went. Nobody asked me about the Rubik's Cube behind me, so that's good. I just looked up and saw it in the corner of the video. But I appreciate you guys taking your time. Let you all know that we're making decision on our end with your best interests in mind. And we do that each and every day. And we have a team and a staff and coaches that are doing everything we can for you guys to make sure that we can make this transition for you as smooth as possible. But we're all experiencing stuff for the first time. So, I can't think of three better people to start this off with. We'll keep doing it. I think we'll bring on three more the next time and talk about some different issues and different things. But I appreciate you guys taking the time to get this started.